right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Subspace Dev Sync. Today, we're just going to go around the table and get an update on what everybody's been working on. Nazar, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'm not sure I talked about it previously, maybe I did, but there is now block reward for block producers on the main branch. I think we will be restarting dev and testnets soon, so that will be included. Another thing, I've updated SS58 prefix because our pull request was merged. So we now have different address format. Basically, we have all of the addresses on the testnet will start with ST. So that's easier to discover. Then I was also working on the retrieval side for the farmer. So there is a pull request open with the simple RPC server. And there is also work in progress branch that allows you to retrieve objects in case those objects do not cross the boundary of a piece or segment. The next commit will be that will support those objects which cross the segment boundary. And on relayer side, I was working on different fixes for problems we've discovered during testing. I've also refactored, almost rewrote how downloader works, and we have now version 2 of the archives for all vary chains except Basilisk. And yeah, I would generalize as a bunch of fixes for relayer. Yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Nazar. What are you going to be working on next?
I want to finish the retrieval side API so we can start working on Subspace.js. Should be like a few more hours of work. And then we'll see. Hopefully everything works with relayer and we don't need to go back to it and fix stuff.
Okay, makes sense. Any questions for Nazar from the group? And just to clarify the stuff on the RPC server and retrievability. So right now we can put data in to the blockchain, but we really can't get data out unless we write some really heavily custom code like the relayer. So this is going, or actually it doesn't even get data out, that just puts data in. So this is the ability to retrieve data from a farmer, where every farmer is like a full replica, so kind of like an Arweave model. And this is, like Nazar was saying, basically this is the final step before we can start working on Subspace.js, which is like huge for people that want to build DApps on top of Subspace. Okay, let's see. Ozgun, you're up next.
Sure. Let me review. So I've been busy with the Farmer library. Last week, I worked on documentation and integration tests. Whilst writing the integration tests, we discovered with Nazar that the current abstraction of the RPC was not enough. So I spent some extra time on that, revisiting the phase 4 on the weekend to catch up with the current schedule. This is done. Its PR is merged, so this is good news. And also revised the whole documentation because it was done. Also revised the whole documentation after the changes. So it's again updated and done. It's ready for the PI. I can submit it or wait on it a bit longer, depending on your choice. Also, base for the integration tests are done. Planning to talk to details on the next call. I mean, evening for you, tomorrow morning for me. I have a couple of questions on there. That's all. And after these changes, I think the transition for binary to library will be completely finished and we'll be ready for another task.
Okay, thanks for the update, Ozgun. So you said you're waiting to submit a PR, but what I didn't quite catch what you were waiting on for that one.
Okay. So initially we planned it as the phase 6. Integration test was phase 5. So I believe these are independent. So documentation PR can be submitted earlier than the integration tests. But if you prefer to PR first integration tests then documentation, I can wait for it. That's what I meant.
Why waiting? Just submit everything. Then
okay. I will submit it then. It's done already.
No point to wait then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the questions that you have?
I have prepared a base, but probably I need a confirmation that it's the right way to do the integration test, so that I won't be spending time on something that it's not a good approach. That's all.
Okay, let's get those questions fielded in the chat and not
Sure.
have to wait until the meeting. So just as a general rule, anytime you have questions, just put them out on the chat. We don't want to wait to have meetings to have to cycle through decisions here.
Yeah, it was ready 1 hour before here. That's why, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
cool. So that's great. That sounds like wonderful progress. Let's try to, like you said, get this task, this major milestone here closed out as soon as possible. And then we can start working on batch plotting, which I believe was the next step we had discussed.
Of course.
Yeah. And do you have enough information to get started on that if you finish these tasks before our next farmer sync?
Actually, do not, because I don't know why batch plotting is not available anymore. So probably I will need more details on that from Nazar. Then I can iterate on that.
Just ping me when you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any questions for Ozgun from the group? All right, thank you, Ozgun. All right, Serge, up next.
Okay, so on Aries Dev, during the weekend there were no outstanding issues. The only ones it crashed because I got like a bad response for one of the RPC, and I restarted, and since then it works, still works basically. And today I was working on a few tasks. One was implementing a few more tests for target. And another one was update logger. So we have like human readable date, because previously we had only timestamps, which is not very convenient. And I was also checking Polka.js internals, because there was a small discussion on the weekend. We might need our WebSocket client without like custom types and other heavyweight stuff. So I was checking what can be reused from Polka.js in case we need one. Yeah, that's all for now.
Okay, and what are the next steps from the testing point of view for the relay?
Since we have new archives, probably tomorrow I will start working with those. I will try locally first, and yeah, if all goes well, we can try it on Aries Dev. And if all goes well, in the meantime, I will tackle a few more technical debt issues. We have many.
Okay, so the archives have been updated in the new format and pushed to the DigitalOcean machine, but you want to test them locally before we try to retest them on the DevNet?
Yeah, just in case. Maybe
Okay.
not full archive, like for a few hours.
Is there anything stopping us from just testing it on the DevNet right now? I mean, the DevNet is kind of like the whole idea of a dev environment for testing.
Yes and no. You should be able to run things locally as well, like if you develop something.
Okay. Well, we've got 4 days left, so I really don't want to have to wait another day to start testing in the dev environment, because then we only have 3 days left at that point until, you know, we're making an announcement. Is there any, I mean, can we just not do them in parallel?
Yeah, I can start with DigitalOcean right away.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, the announcement is going to be from Genesis for all parachains and the relayer chain, not just the live mode like we have it working right now on the test net. Okay. All right, and then yeah, regarding the technical debt, that was kind of the intent for you know, once we've got this working as expected, that you could take the time you needed, like we've always said, you can take 3 or 4 days to, you know, work on tests, work on documentation, resolve any technical debt. But we do need to wrap that up by the end of this week. because next week we're going to be moving on to new projects.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, great. All right, any questions for Serge from the group? Okay, thank you, Serge. All right, Leo, you're up next.
Yeah, I get some rest in the weekend, but I also was working in the infrastructure, and I created a couple of upgrades in the documentation, and also I kind of automated the launch of a network for all the environments for testnet and devnet, with a kind of script, initial script that pull the images and install them. It configure the images, and also it mounts the archive directories and start running the network and everything. And also I have been working in a couple of other related issues with the infrastructure with Terraform, like having a way to secure the state and share it among the team. And I took a fast course in Terraform, actually, in Terraform Cloud integration. And that kind of will be allow us to have this state like secured, encrypted, and available for all the team, and also integrated with the GitHub repository to have these GitHub actions and have some kind of similar behavior to have a pull request to main to be able to automatically deploy the infrastructure only from the main repository. And also I have working with the relayer front end. I got some pending updates in there that fixes the way that we get the feeds and how we show them in the front end. And yeah, that has been my main work.
Okay, Leo, thanks for the update on that, and we'll go through the infrastructure stuff in more detail in the next call. And then, yeah, I'm glad you brought up the relayer front end. I had some things I wanted to talk to you about that as well, but we can talk about that on our one-on-one later. Any questions for Leo from the group?
I'm curious about the progress on the farmer ID in block production in Block.js apps.
Yeah, I found the error. Yeah, I am getting a null log digest, and I have to update in Polkadot apps and in the Explorer. Yeah, that's why I was getting a 0 and yeah, and not the right log for the consensus.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for the update, Leo. Okay, Liu-Cheng, I'm going to turn it over to you. And Liu-Cheng, I just ask that you try to give a little bit of background for anyone watching or for the other people on the team about the decoupled execution. I know that Nazar and I are pretty much aware of everything, but everybody else on the group, it's like a total unknown for them. So try to just keep that in mind when you're giving your update.
Okay, so the first thing, I got one PR get merged into the main branch of Subspace, which is about an optimization of the root block extraction from the extrinsic. Like now we don't have to do the encoding and decoding to extract the root block. So the other time I fully work on the decoupled execution. So the decoupled execution is about the goal of decoupled execution is to offload the computation, the state computation from the traditional validator, or in our case, the farmer, to another kind of like a node. We call it an executor. So the executor will be responsible for the state computation, and they will maintain the the blockchain state, and they will perform the state computation, the blockchain like state transition. So that's basically what the covered execution mainly about. And like we have like several meetings about the architecture, and we finally like decided to get start to hack on Cumulus finally. And yeah, so I will just like continue to working on the Cumulus to get our subspace node embedded in the in the Cumulus. Yeah, basically this is it on my end.
Thanks, Liu-Cheng. And just so that's clear, Cumulus is the library that you use if you want to embed take a substrate client and use it as a parachain, and it has an embedded Polkadot client within it. So we've realized that we could actually like reuse this pattern, or at least we believe that we can reuse this pattern and use Cumulus as a way to embed a subspace node and treat an executor almost like a parachain, and save a lot of time and effort. So this is still somewhat of an assumption, but Liu-Cheng is working as quickly as he can to validate this assumption about the complexity of refactoring these libraries. So this is somewhat similar to how when we built Spartan originally, we forked Babe and modified the consensus from Babe into Spartan. We're trying to do something somewhat similar. This is a kind of on a whole new level, but it's the same basic idea that we're trying to do here. Okay, any questions for Liu-Cheng from the group? All right, thank you, Liu-Cheng. And we're gonna have another meeting in about a day and a half to review progress on that, but things are moving pretty good now. Okay, Justin, you're up next.
Awesome. I got a couple, one more PR submitted for Rustin blockchain. There's other PR or repo rather, that they require some information in. So I got that submitted. Completed the mid-month developer updates for you, Jeremiah. I'm not sure if you saw my message over the weekend. So I got that sent over. And from there, I've been working on getting the status page to be a little bit nicer. Currently, I have it updated to where it shows a chart, the ping chart basically, of the history. When you click onto it, it's like a drop-down detail. I'm working on getting more details implemented onto that page. I'm just having some issues with the way it's currently set up as far as like the handling of the variables and everything. Considering the dashboard is like kind of a restricted as far as an access levels goes. So, but beyond that, mostly been working on some business side of things, setting in like a formal Discord moderation guide and things along those lines for the ambassadors.
Great. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, and I did receive the mid-month dev updates. I'm working on that today, so I should be able to get feedback to you this afternoon on that. Does anyone have any questions for Justin?
I have a small nitpick. Stato Subspace network actually opens on the HTTP and HTTPS, so we probably should have a redirect from HTTP.
Oh, yeah.
Better yet to have HSTS, so it doesn't even try to open the HTTP anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that should just be the an Nginx configuration, right? Okay. I can get that updated.
Okay. Thanks, Justin. All right. On my side, I have been working pretty closely with Nazar and Liu-Cheng on the decoupled execution architecture, doing a lot of research into the way that the Polkadot and the Cumulus code base work, and trying to come up with kind of a project management plan for how we can do this. And I think we're coming along on that. I am also working on a lot of writing, like blog posts and press releases and whatnot regarding the relayer and all the announcements that we're going to be making over the next few weeks regarding that, because there are many. Working closely with Yewan on that. And then we have been having several partner meetings or discussions rather. Some meetings are scheduled for this week with other parachains or other teams within the Polkadot and Kusama space. Yeah, more or less what I described earlier. Let's see, we did, so Serge, regarding the RPC, trying to find other RPC endpoints. I think you saw the messages. So Moonbeam has one through this Beware, and Shiden has some docs on theirs, but it doesn't look like these are exactly what we're looking for, but that's about the best that they have. So I think the short answer is, what I'm getting is no, nobody else is exposing an archival node over a public RPC. Like maybe they have them, but they're not really willing to share them. So I think that probably means that we will be maybe at some point running our own archival nodes and exposing public RPCs, but we'll just, that's another decision we can have. But it doesn't seem like there's any real backups right now on finality, unfortunately. Okay, any questions for me?
I do. Like you mentioned many press releases, so do you need any more help on GPU article, or what's the status on that?
No, I do not. Thank you. It is in my list of things to do. I tried to get to it this weekend. I just did not have time to do it, unfortunately.
It's been a long time, so if you want me to revise it, I can do so. But if not, okay. Just let me know. Will do.
Yeah, it's no, I still just need to go through and rewrite the intro, and yeah, that's by the end of this week is the goal, to have that done. Thanks for the reminder, Ozgun. All right. Any other questions for me or for the group? Anything else we need to discuss? Okay, guys. Thanks everybody for the updates. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you guys again next week, or in a couple days rather, sorry.